Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me in the second official series concert, the Safioleas and Steinway series, specifically an educational video, one of many I plan on uploading to this channel. What you just heard as an introduction was my third work. So when I just started writing the second movement of the piano concerto. That was the piano concerto in C minor, the D major slow movement, the introduction, to get a nice feel of this beautiful, beautiful piano, which I'd like to make some comments in a little bit in this session. But very briefly, what I would like to intend to do in this session is, as I recently just mentioned, is that I'd like to provide an educational session which will supplement not just students of mine or people that I am encountering that are contemplating or actually starting to learn, but anywhere, any person, anywhere in the country or world that accesses this channel that would like to learn more about music. This is for you. This is hopefully an inspiration and hopefully a nice supplement, because as I teach, and I've been teaching for quite some time, as I introduce new methods and just new concepts, and it can get a little bit overwhelming in learning a new instrument, and it's all in the presentation. And as delicately as I put it, sometimes it's nice to just go and have that extra resource. So a little brief supplement to that, which I hope is helpful to you. So session today in general, some introductory concepts of piano playing. Remarks, which I think I might actually like to open with this, based on my recent receipt, which I am still absolutely humbled, and I still have to pinch myself with of the top music teacher award from Steinway and Sons. And just a little bit about actually Steinway piano. So we'll do the award, we'll do some teaching and speaking to this instrument. So I am incredibly grateful to have received the 2020 Top Music Teacher Award, endorsed by M. Steiner and Sons, a native now in West Newton. I had amazing relationships and experiences with the folks over at M. Steiner and Sons. They had given us great opportunities, us being myself and my students and colleagues, to experience their amazing instruments and hold my traditional fundraiser concerts that I would locally at the time at their venue. And it was a great opportunity. So much was to be, even I can speak to myself being as a teacher, it was an amazing opportunity to learn more about not just Steinway pianos, but music in general. Great experiences. So from the bottom of my heart, I am very grateful to everyone at M. Steiner and Sons, the Murphys, Brendan Murphy, Vivian Handis, amazing, amazing, wonderful woman. Thank you all for your collective endorsement. It really is encouraging, and it is definitely motivating to me. As I mentioned officially to them in a written letter, I fully intend throughout the rest of my life to be involved in music. And I really enjoy teaching every aspect, teaching and performing and composing music. It is just such a rewarding experience, very, very beneficial, fulfilling, and I hope to enlighten others as well as I tackle this just amazing, amazing industry. It's been a great joy teaching, and to be recognized by such an incredible company, I could not be more grateful. It means the world to me, and thank you to everyone at M. Steiner and Sons and Steinway and Sons company as a whole. So teaching, I teach piano and violin, and on this channel you'll see both. This is the Safioleas and Steinway series. I actually purchased this K52 back in May. Now it's sort of settled in its space, and I'm able to teach and give concerts on it, and it's just a great opportunity. So piano playing in general is just a great, great thing to be involved in. piano playing is, of things that one could be involved in music, is a very wise decision. It's the piano itself is a central instrument in music. You can understand so much about music, not just other instruments, but even music theory itself by studying the piano. It holds so many great benefits. So of the choices, I will say you made a great one if you've even decided to start playing the piano. It is a great instrument to learn, and it really can sharpen you in ways you will not even imagine. And I will also add to it that it doesn't particularly matter how old you are. Of course, as you're younger, you are a sponge internalizing things, and it's important to, sort of introduce things early, but it is not, and I will tell you because I have taught students that are adults that have made incredible progress, and it's all about the approach. So no matter what age you are, you can certainly start to learn. You really can. So I would absolutely rid yourself of that suspicion that it matters. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. And I prove to give you numerous examples from my teachings that it can happen. So much that students, adult students that have been playing with practicing with me and studying, and they're going to do concerts, they're the concert attendants will say, "My gosh, what did you start when you were 8?" They hadn't even touched an instrument for decades. So that goes to show you the progress that's possible in playing. But it is a very central instrument in music. It is a great instrument to learn. The piano, there are many different types. You can see in front of me is what we call an upright. So it's an upright in its positioning. It's sort of like a wall piano, if you will. Some will refer to it as. If you have spacing issues, which is why I purchased this particular type of piano, I would like a grand eventually, but spacing limitations kind of brought me to this piano. It's a beautiful piano nonetheless, and you heard it first and foremost at the very beginning. But there are different types. So this is an upright acoustic, and what it means is it's not plugged in. You have electronic keyboards you can plug in now, and it's amazing the technology that is available for playing musical instruments. There are, and I'm sure you've seen them at concerts, with plugs. So electronic pianos, acoustics, preference-wise, well, does it really matter which one you buy? I get that question a lot. It's a very common question. I could do another video on the types of pianos and the benefits and disadvantages of each. But at any rate, it's really just the fact that you have a lot of pianos will do justice. So, you have something to practice on. It doesn't even have to be a full size. And what I mean by that is this piano is a full size, meaning it has, and I always ask this as a trivia question. You never know, you might be asked this question. There are 88 keys on a full-size piano. Things you could know in life, right? Full-size keyboards, there are smaller keyboards as well, and they serve the purpose, especially when you're just starting out and learning. One of the first things that people think about when they're starting to learn, my gosh, there are so many keys. How am I going to learn it all? It looks sort of intimidating. Well, you start slow. You start slow, and you start in a little area, and then you graduate, and eventually you're playing in more registers. But initially, it's you take a chunk, and then you learn the patterns. Keys have certain patterns, groupings. You learn how to identify notes, positions. And again, you'll be amazed at what you can learn as you pick up week after week of studying. But it doesn't matter piano-wise, really, in the beginning, what type of piano you get, really. I mean, of course, you have to take a number of considerations, which I might do a video of purchasing pianos specifically to address them. But there are things like space, budget, obviously. You can get some very reasonably priced pianos that are electronic. When you get into serious piano playing, as I have when I purchased a Steinway, you really have to ask lots of questions about the instrument. But in the beginning, Things may be a little bit overwhelming. You need that direction, and I always am happy to provide direction, but I'll give you from an experience standpoint this and that. So it doesn't really, you have a lot of options in playing in terms of the instruments that you can use to practice, use as your own practice instrument for the piano. But one of the trivia things in the beginning when you're learning piano is that the piano comes in many different types. Grand, when you're on stage, you see the big grand pianos. Baby grand, it means what you might think, it's a smaller grand. Uprights, like this one. Acoustic, these are all acoustic, primary the examples I'm giving you now. And the electrics, the ones you plug in. Now, why are they acoustic? They're acoustic, they don't use electricity. How do they make the sounds? Well, the computer will generate the sounds with electric pianos. With the acoustics, the inner workings are very simply this. There's a hammer that strikes a string and produces a sound. Depending on how hard you hit the key is how hard the hammer will strike that string. That's the A. And I hit it quite gently. If I hit it with more force, you get a lot of sounds. And you've probably seen this even inexperienced in piano playing, just by going up to the piano and pressing the keys. That the harder you hit, the harder, now you know, that the hammer will hit the string and produce that sound. That is a weighted touch. Weighted touch. And actually, some electronic keyboards have the interesting capacity to recognize the intensity of your touch. So if you hit it hard, you can get a hard sound. If you hit soft, a soft sound. Not all of them do. I mean, I think it's helpful if an electronic keyboard does, because then if you go to play, a lot of the techniques you learn, you can apply, but also if you go to play an acoustic, you'll get that transition quite nicely. So the piano, when you have your piano, posture is everything. And I talk about posture with students, and you get used to it as you're going with weeks. But at any instrument, posture is key. Piano is no exception. You have to have the piano at the right height. So if you're going to have an electronic keyboard, you don't want to put it way up on a counter and you have to stand. The ideal positioning, as you've probably seen with people performing, or even videos, maybe you're just watching videos like this one, you have a chair that should be not too high or not too low. Your elbows, shoulders, you have to be relaxed, and that's the key. Everybody's always tense, and then that makes movement difficult. Relaxed, sitting straight, and actually slightly forward into your playing. You don't want to be too far back, as you would imagine. Makes playing difficult. Not too close. Right. Not too low. High. So your positioning is very, very much key. And some stands on electronics can adjust, and I suggest adjusting them to a comfortable height. But you most certainly don't want to be straining yourself playing. Posture is everything, and it's often overlooked in music. When people are playing, they're thinking, oh, well, I just want to play, and they get eager, which I admire the eagerness, but unfortunately, repetitive actions can be damaging in the playing, specifically with regard to imperfect posture. So posture is everything. Now you're going to use your hands, 10 fingers to play. You use all your fingers. Now some instruments, the violin, I might use my right hand for bow, left hand to play the notes. So really I'm using 4 fingers. My thumb is bracing the violin neck. With piano, you're using 10. And when reading music, you'll notice that they'll say sometimes you'll see numbers on the music, and what the numbers are referring to are your fingers, which finger to press on the key, the note. And the way they're numbered is key. People have a tendency to go, as most of us do, left to right reading, numbering the fingers from the left hand pinky, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the thumb, and then going from your right hand left to right, thumb being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, you'd be right here, but you'd be wrong here. Because in music, with piano playing, numbering starts from the thumbs outward. So rather 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we are doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So from our thumbs outward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And as we play the piano, I will instruct students to play, let's say, now that we know about the intensity of sound with the hammer, the strike, and fingering, I can say 3 loud right hands. And that would be 3 loud right hands. I could say 5 soft left hand. That's my pinky, left hand, C. Great exercises as you're playing. Already you're starting to learn. These pieces are coming together slowly. Posture-wise, I could add one last thing, and that is the curvature of your hands. The best way to describe it is as if you're holding a bubble and you're very gently holding this bubble and you do not want to break the bubble. You're not going to hold the bubble like this, it's going to break. Very gently, nice curvature. Many times, this. And that is in proper posture, and it makes it very difficult to play. It risks, I always pretend that there are snakes or something underneath the student. Don't let them bite you. And you keep on practicing and practicing, and a key point in practicing is to stop frequently to watch yourself and evaluate yourself and say, am I doing this correctly? You're in a zone and you keep playing and playing, and you're not paying attention, then that you run the danger of it becoming a habit. Whatever the technique is that is not quite at where it should be. So with the piano is just the great instrument. Centrally, you see the piano accompanying lots and lots of instruments. It spans a great register, as you might have already noticed listening to the piano. As you go farther to the right, up, the sound gets higher. As you go down to the left, the sound gets lower. That's how it is designed. And one of the great things I like about playing the piano is that everything is in front of you. And I always instruct my students with this, in the sense that everything is in front of you. If you need to explore some concepts, theory, chord, interval, so many things. Just look at the keyboard, and it's laid out for you. It's much more difficult on other instruments. For example, playing the violin, right? Playing the violin. You have to get the finger positioning just right. If you don't, what's going to happen? Well, it's a little too high or low. Speaking of high or low, tuning instruments, and I will say it with acoustics, is critical because it's not electronic. There are fascinating mechanics to the instrument. They have to be tuned regularly, especially if they're being played a lot or if they've been moved. When I had this piano moved, when I purchased it, it had to be tuned. It had to settle in the space for about 3-4 weeks. And then it was tuned, and it should be tuned at least twice a year. And the basis behind that is that these instruments change with really humidity is a big point. So in the peak of summer, when it's the peak humidity, what happens to the pitch is it gets too high, or we call it sharp. And in the reverse end of it, in the wintertime, in the peak of the least amount of humidity, I should say, the piano gets flat, or as we say, flat lower in sound, too low sound. So it's either too high or too low. So we have to make sure that we have the right adjustment. And actually, I own, which I moved to the other room so I wouldn't be making too much noise in this production, but a dehumidifier. So I can help, because of course now we're at a great point of summertime where it's humid, and the piano sound, especially a piano like this, it's very, very important to keep that the sound as optimal as it can be. But tuning is a very other introductory important point to acoustic pianos, and it's very important to have a mechanic that you trust in regularly helping you adjust the sound of your instrument. So Steinway pianos in general, I absolutely love and prefer them. As I mentioned earlier, with my association with Stein and Sons, we had the great privilege of going to their venue to perform. I had learned the pianos well before, but actually performing on them in a regular fashion and so intimately, that opportunity was the greatest for me, and I just absolutely adore them. And they are just amazing instruments. They are really, really, really high quality instruments. It is so evident that 300 plus individuals, talented individuals, are working on the development of every which aspect of this amazing instrument. Some particular things I like about Steinway pianos is the power that they command. I mean, you want to tell, and I always say this at shows, you want to tell an unforgettable story, you tell it on a Steinway. You are not going to forget the story. And I could play the same piece on different pianos. The Steinway tells it the best. It is an amazing instrument, very, very clear, beautiful, versatile sound. And I just absolutely love it. I think one of the first memories that I had, which really resonated with me in playing on a Steinway, was when I was playing in 2016, the first concert at Stein and Sons in Natick on the Model D, and I was playing I opened the program with this piece, which was my seventh work, a prelude, which I have on this channel actually, for the piano. And what took my breath away in particular was the low E flat octave that I played in that prelude. What beauty and power that instrument ended. And even this one, as you can hear, no exception. Amazing craftsmanship. And just the elegance, as you saw in the very beginning of this clip, I played the second movement of my piano concerto, the third work that I wrote, absolutely pulling at your heartstrings. Such an elegant and beautiful sound, and you can change with the drop of a dime. Overall, the instrument commands amazing power, and as a performer on this instrument, you really are taken aback sometimes when you're playing. It's just surreal, the delivery of the instrument. So that being said, I am very, very happy to own a K52. It's just been my dream, and with space permitting, in a few years, I hope to get a grant and just continue that amazing playing. It's just such a great opportunity. So some initial remarks on my great appreciation for Steinway and Sons pianos. So I hope you got a lot out of this session, an introductory session on piano playing, my just absolute honor in receiving the Top Teacher Award of 2020 Steinway and Sons, and some also introductory comments on Steinway pianos in general. I hope you enjoy your pursuit of music, and I hope you look to this channel for more information throughout the weeks. At least every week you'll see new content, and in addition to formal recitals and concerts, you'll see material like this where I'll present some educational material. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Be safe, keep the music going, and I could also tell you that if you are interested in learning about not just piano playing, but the piano as an example in this book that I wrote, The Wonderful Gift of Music. The Wonderful Gift of Music. There are links on my channel here, available on Amazon. This book has so many great, actually some of the messages I delivered today on picking up an instrument and the benefits of studying music. And it's enjoyable for adults to read as well, because there are some great teaching points in the wonderful gift of music. So I hope you have a wonderful week. Thanks for tuning into this session of the Safioleas at the Steinway concert series educational presentation, and be well. Take care.